Hello and welcome to the Grid Irn-Cru podcast, the American football podcast made in Scotland by NFL lovers. I am Keith McGinty, and tonight I am joined by Danny McVeigh and Mikey Brune. Guys, how we doing? Danny, you well?
No, I'm rubbish. I'm a bit loaded. I've been in my deathbed all week, but I've made a rallying effort like Lazarus for the dead to come on and blether to you boys. So,
It's all that jet setting you're doing, travelling to New England, and yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. That recycled air and stuff like that. Yeah, I have to come down with a bit of the Rona, but I'm feeling better. But I've got this kind of choked up thing. So apologies in advance if I sneezed in my mic or something.
Nah, that's all right. You're sounding a wee bit hoarse, a wee bit sexy. That's spread ticks and boxes. Yeah, get some new listeners in. Oh, yes. Someone who always sounds very sexy is Mikey Brune. How are we, buddy?
I don't know about that. I've had a worse case of IR this week than the Ravens secondary hub. So I'm fit and back tonight. So yeah, I'm glad to be back and feeling a bit better. I'm just hoping that the recovery keeps going in all fronts.
We're all falling to bits here. I think we're all needing a holiday. That's what it is. Nearly at the school's October break. So, we're nearly there. Lots to talk about tonight. Danny has been busy getting the agenda all set for us, so it'll be a wee bit more structured this evening. I'm looking forward to chatting through some football with you. We're going to look at some of the news from the week, first of all. Then we'll have a quick recap of last week's games. Really exciting games, really interesting games. It kind of flips how we maybe think about some teams and their chances of making postseason, which we'll discuss together. Have a look ahead to the fixtures for week 6 of the NFL. There's another London game coming up. And then we will finish with some questions from yourself. So if you have any questions and you'd like to get in touch with the crew, you can fire them through on Instagram, on X. You can post them on YouTube as well. They come straight through. We'll be able to put them up on the screen and get your questions and points put through to the crew. Magic. Right, let's start. First of all, last week we had the first episode of our Scott Ball podcast. Grant King and I were interviewing Carol Fanning. He's one of the coaches of the Scotland under-19s team who were playing Bristol SGS. This was due to be a tough game. Thanks to everybody who went along. I think they sold over 50% anyway off their allocation. I think it was ended up like 600 people made their way to Meggetland for the 12 o'clock kickoff on Sunday to see the Scotland team batter Bristol 50-18 in the end. A surprise result, but when you hear about all the work that's been going into it and all the great minds of Scottish football that came together for that and the talented young players that we've got coming through, maybe it shouldn't be a surprise, but the boys were absolutely terrific. Delighted for them, and look forward to hearing more about them and how the rest of the sides are going to be doing with more Scott Ball podcasts. We had the first one last Friday. I think we're going for around about the 24th for the next episode. We're looking for it to be maybe a bi-monthly thing. If you're interested and you'd like to get in touch and maybe take part in some of the Scott Ball podcast, then please get in touch with us. We're looking for a few more names and faces that we could do. We'll be doing interviews around the game. So yeah, we've got the Uniball season starting the weekend of the 25th. I think the first games are of October. So yes, get in touch and look out for them. I think the big news from the week though has to be the trade, and that's what we've named the podcast after. Say his name and he appears, I believe, in Joe Flacco.
What's that? That was rubbish there. I rubbished it. I'm sorry. Scratch it, rewind.
Mikey, what do you make of this? He's a former Raven. He's made his way to the Browns and now heading to Ohio to help out the Bengals. What do you make of this?
I mean, if you're a Packers fan, you're probably fearing it because he's already beat you this year. Dare I say it, that Joe Flacco has finally been given the wide receivers his career has deserved. Slightly about this is I just don't understand why the Bengals took that long to pull the trigger and do it. If they were going to do it, the timing of it seemed really weird. I love Flacco. I absolutely love him. I've got loads of memorabilia right behind me on the shelf there. Flacco, he was hashtag elite for us. He was just Super Bowl MVP for a reason for us. But at the same time, he's not mobile.
No.
The Bengals' O-line is going to be like I don't know. It's one of them. He's probably going to get some highlight reel touchdowns. From his point of view, he's been benched for Dylan Gabriel at the Browns. Gets the opportunity to go and play in another, and they've named him starter, I believe, already. So,
Yes.
So you got to look at it. I mean, if anything, I am kind of hoping we still need to play the Bengals twice this year, so our secondary could get some picks out of it. So, because we already done all right against them when we played the Browns this year, so it's great move for him. Great move for him, isn't it? It's like I've seen people online saying that, oh, the Bengals are back, they're a contender again and all that, and I'm like, are they? Are they?
Danny, are they a contender? Yeah, Danny, are they a contender, or is this really just to try and steady the ship? Which
no, this is elder abuse. This you're about to see a guy in his 40s die behind that O-line. I'm sorry, this is a guy who's just been benched by the Browns. You know, like, trust me, if he was rimming it up and playing well for the Browns, he would still be in that starting position. He's not. He's now been binned by them. He's gone into this team who, let's face it, it's a last throw of dice for Duke Tobin and Zach Taylor, probably just to try and save their arse a wee bit and try and get some wins. Like, although I did say he's last week, I think it was, I said, well, there is a straw to be clutched here. You know, you're looking at, you know, the second and third stringers are the Ravens, the Browns are the Browns, Steelers don't look any great shakes. There is something to clutch onto there, and maybe you can try and sneak some wins and just keep it competitive kind of getting into the year. But while that O-line is out there and getting people murdered behind it, I just don't see it really happening. I don't see it being a massive upgrade. They might be a wee bit more competitive, but are they really got to win any more games? Maybe. I'd be interested in put it this way. What was the line before and after? I bet it didn't shift too much.
The main thing for me is just, as you say, that protection. Is he going to get the protection to be able to throw it to the wide receivers that he's been due his career? That's the thing that he's not going to get. As you say, not mobile. Is he going to get? Is he still got the footwork to create that wee bit of space so that he can get the ball downfield to Chase and Higgins? That's it. That's the thing I'm worried about. On paper, it sounds the perfect replacement for who is it that took over from Burrow?
Jake Browning.
Yeah,
Jake Browning.
I mean, Browning threw 3 picks last week, wasn't it? So he was under scrutiny, and he was it's my fault type thing. So I think they're hoping that they get a bit more. Listen, turnovers change games, right? And if you throw picks, more often than not, you're going to lose, right? If you turn that ball over, if Flacco is sensible with it and gets rid of it. But what I will say is a guy who's watched a lot of Flacco games, he doesn't often get rid of it. He does as many arm punts as Josh Allen. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, it might be a good one. But I mean, Flacco, he's a big unit. He's a big dude. So we'll see what happens.
The only one more disappointed in Jake Browning getting benched than Browning is Geno Smith, with the amount of interceptions that he's been going. He's been making Geno look good, so absolutely gutted with that. Other news, we've got Jerry Jones' magic finger, $250,000. He's been fined for flipping the bird at Jets fans after their win. Was it last week? It was. I've only just seen the video of it today, Danny.
Every penny.
That's well worth it. If you're a multi-billionaire, that's well worth it.
Oh, I would do it for free as well. I think we should start a GoFundMe page for him. You know, taking the God to work, flip him off the Jets.
It's almost Rory McIlroy-esque, isn't it? He's like, I'm going to get away with this. And like,
but it's a bit of a trend, isn't it? Because I was just, before I came out there, I was just doing as you usually do, when you're a wee bit, tied up in the toilet, just flicking through TikTok and stuff like that, and I came across the Tampa Bay Baker Mayfield. He was giving dogs abuse to the Seahawks fans as well.
Yeah,
calling them, what was it called, them pussies or something like that, and then he was giving them absolute dogs abuse afterwards. I don't see a problem with it. I think as long as it's in good nature, who cares of shouting a wee bit of abuse to each other, flipping each other a bird. 250k seems a wee bit extreme, but when you're a multi-billionaire worth a franchise that's worth how many billions, then small change to him.
To be fair to Baker, he was getting it tight from the Seahawks fans as well. Shame it did not put him off his game at all, but we'll get to that a wee bit later on. You've mentioned it's about your trend. There was also the Panthers owner last season. Did he throw a drink over somebody? David, I can't remember his name as well.
Yeah.
See, listen, these guys think they can get away with absolutely anything it's going to come and bite them in the bum one of these days. But
all I'm going to say is just if Graham, if Hendo's watching, just wait till we play the Texans again, because see, after doing a squirrel dance in the Ravens end zone, I can't wait till Roquan's playing, because he'll take the 15-yard penalty for that. So,
bit precious, no? Touch or a dance.
Aye.
Bunch of big burly guys, 6'3" monsters, and they got all upset or a dance. Jeez, peace, man.
I love it as well. Raking your foot over the logo and stuff like that. Absolutely, get tore into it. It's like Souness taking the flag and planting it, right in the middle of the pitch. There, I love a wee bit of mentalness like that.
You should start like stealing the mascots the night before and all that, and do all that sort of stuff.
They've not got, that's one thing that American football's not. They've not got like good banners and chants like we've got at our football here. That's something that we could certainly import whenever they bring that NFL game to Scotland.
That was definitely something that was highlighted at the Ryder Cup as well, wasn't it? It was the fact that the European chants to the American chants was like a. So
they could even do the clap to "We Will Rock You."
I know. Listen, let's just hope the London game this weekend has a good sing song then and shows them what the European fans are like. So.
Absolutely. But before we get to this week's game, what about last weekend's game? It was held at Tottenham Spurs Stadium, but there seemed to be a wee bit of hassle, Danny, before people managed to get in. I don't know about you, have you had the One Pass app for a while? I've only downloaded it after going to see the Lombardi in Edinburgh the other week. It seems all right. It seems a bit.
I had it a couple of years ago when I was at. I've had it a couple of times for going, and sometimes it's hit or miss down there.
I've never had it. I've always just taken them, fired them into my Google Wallet and stuff like that, and went in. But I'm not surprised. They've made an absolute arse of everything this year so far, and I wasn't surprised to see how many tens of thousands of fans they kept outside the game anyway, and would have been offered like 50% off or something like that for next year, a voucher or something. But they've made an absolute arse of these London games this year.
50% off for.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a voucher for next year or if it's merchandise or whatever it is.
I think it's merchandise.
Is it? Hi. Well, yeah, I'm sure they'll still make plenty of money off it, even with 50% off. But no, I think it just kind of sums up what's been a pretty disappointing year for me when it comes to these international games, particularly in Spurs Stadium. Say somebody who was a dedicated season ticket holder from the very start, right through COVID, still went to every single game. Did our part when they're just to be kind of treated like that. The price hikes and now the fact tickets are now working. I think they've got a lot of work to do here, and they could do with sending a couple of decent games. This game itself, it was fine. I watched it. It was part of my 14 hours straight of American football, which was absolutely brilliant last week. But it was a fine game. But again, I went to the 2017 version of this game when it was held in Twickenham. back in the day. You know, give us some matchups. You know, give us something new, some new teams. We saw the Vikings last year as well, so, and we saw the Jets last year as well. So, you know, I think there's a fair bit of work they've got to get done in these London games to go forward, to not piss off and disenfranchise all the fan base completely. So
one of the comments on Insta, I think it's from Foz, it was saying that it was the Android issues and folk with Firefox, like having to download Firefox, and that helped to work that out. But I mean, for me, that's like, people shouldn't be having to do that on the day or having to work around to get it. It's like, it's multi-million pound. Like it should be seamless. These things, like you said, you should be able to download it, put it in your wallet, like as simple as going to the Hydro or going to the O2 Arena or something like. It should
bring
be
back
like
a ticket. Just bring back a ticket stub. In my Pack Cave, I've got on display my actual ticket stubs from all the games I've been to through the years before they went digital, and they're brilliant and they're great things to actually keep, great mementos. Bring it back old school.
I've got my lanyard, I think, with Lamar's first ever game when I was at it. But it's physical tickets are always a thing. Your memento, isn't it?
They're extra now. So we've been to the wrestling at the Hydro a couple of years ago, before they had the big one last year, and you can pay a wee bit extra to get a ticket lanyard thing. It's ridiculous. I've still got, Danny, you'll remember this first gig that we ever went to was Ocean Colour Scene at the Barras, supported by Mo Solid Gold, and I've got the
2000, up the March 2000, was it?
Ticket up the loft somewhere still. So it's amazing how these wee things just bring back the memories as well, and that physical memento. I know we're sounding like old guys right now, but
we are old guys.
To be fair, I think a physical ticket would have probably helped me a wee bit more, because last year when I went down to the game, we got all the way up to the stadium, and Scud, our good pal, had organised the tickets for us, and he'd emailed us out the week before. I'd just left the email. I hadn't clicked on it. I hadn't downloaded my ticket or anything like that. So I got there and I couldn't get in because obviously there's no signal with that thousands of people at the stadium. So I had to walk another mile back down the road through the crowd, try and get a signal off one of the wee thingy sheets, download my ticket, and manage to make it back up just in time for the game. So this one pass up maybe could do with a wee bit of refinement, but it's a multi-billion pound corporation, the NFL. It was good to see that they were quick in getting the email out and kind of dealing with it. That just shows you how slick they are as an operation. Hopefully, by the time they make their way up to Scotland for a game, probably at Murrayfield, then they'll have all this sorted out. On Reddit,
go
for it, Mikey.
No, see, I've got a theory with this, right? Because I purchased my tickets for the Union Jack Classic today for the college football game for next year, which is the Jayhawks are playing Arizona State, Big 12 conference game. And they've signed a multi-year partnership for games, for the Big 12 games over here. I think...
For a particular stadium?
Well, they haven't said. So I think they might do this Union Jack Classic, might be a thing that they maybe roll out and test the waters like they did with the college ball in Ireland before they then. So, I mean, it would be amazing to get an NFL game up here, but even a college game over in Scotland, can you imagine? I mean, when you look at the teams that are in the Big 12, I mean, my little cousin in America, she went to West Virginia, where Country Roads was. Can you imagine Murrayfield sold out with Country Roads going? That'd be a sight to see, wouldn't it? So, if that comes to fruition and I'm 3 years early and I've predicted that, then somebody buy me a pint, right? So
I'm worried about how that might go down in some of the stadiums up here in Scotland, but I would be. It'd be nice to see certainly a college game, and it's something at the Crew we have been pushing for. We've got in touch with some of the leaders of teams and stadium here in Scotland. We're going to get in touch with some more. I know some of the other guys and other podcasts have been doing the same, so hopefully we can make a concerted effort and bring American football to Scotland. No doubt these guys that run the clubs in Scotland have seen this. They've seen what's happening in Ireland with the college ball games. Now they've had the NFL game over there, and just the interest it can bring, the revenue it can bring to the cities.
Oh, massive.
But to get something like that here would be absolutely amazing, and it's going to happen. The crew will be at the forefront of that as well, and bringing it here. So make sure everybody supports that the best they can. The reason I brought this up is because on Reddit, I noticed that Channel 5 had OC on without you asking me anything. I asked them what would they think of a game coming up to Scotland for the NFL. Can you see it happening in the next 5 years? And he says Scotland's certainly somewhere that he'd love to see a game, but he thinks possibly they'll be going to Asia next. Now, it's where in Asia they're going to. I know they used to have games in Japan in I think it was the 80s, 90s. They had some games in Japan over there. So I wonder if they'll maybe try that market there. They've got Sydney, is it next year for some games as well? So they really are going to take it out to the world, but there's still a place for it in Scotland. And we've got a massive fan base of American football fans in Scotland. Great wee trip over to Edinburgh would be fantastic for people all over Scotland, UK, Europe as well. I think it'd be brilliant. So it's going to happen. We're certainly going to help the best we can to bring it into fruition. Good. The only other thing from the London game was, and this I hold dear to my heart. I don't know, Mikey, you and I were playing each other in fantasy at the weekend. I'm pretty sure I had Will Rijkaard in my team, and his kick hit the Skycam wire. Now that could have cost me the game against you, because we
you weren't playing me. You weren't playing me, but I was taking joy at your pain. So when anybody loses fantasy with like less than a point, or I'm like that, oh, that's grim. So unfortunately, I'm sitting right behind Kev at the top of our fantasy, and my only loss is to Kev, which was unfortunate. So but yeah, I did see your plight at the weekend when Mahomes threw a 11-yard catch to Kelsey, and essentially if he'd thrown it to Thornton, then you would have probably won. So
yeah. And it was, I had Will Rijkaard. It was Grant I was up against. Absolute sickener. Well, next week we go again. Okay, let's have a wee look through some of the highlights from the week 5 of the NFL. Danny, you want to start us off, seeing how you probably had the result of the weekend with the Pats?
Yeah, as I say, it was the showpiece of my 14-hour spree of just vegged out in front of the telly watching NFL. It was a glorious day for it. I was more than happy there as I was starting to feel a little bit crap. But yeah, Pats obviously up against the Bills. I called it last week when I said the Bills had no chance, and there was definitely no tongue-in-cheek there. I meant it. To be honest, it was a really interesting game to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, try to take my Patriots glasses off here and look at the bigger picture. I had a bit of everything. It had a sloppy Bills team. It wasn't their perfect game by any means. It does, the ice out, the white out kind of in the Highmark Stadium, everybody in white and white towels and all that, amazing stuff, and it was looking great. And I would have been happy as a Patriots fan just to see give them a wee bit of bloody nose, give them a bit of a scare. But the fact to see them come through, to see what Drake May was able to do, full-on revenge game from Stephon Diggs, really good coaching game from the Patriots. Thought Josh McDaniels, I thought he was a bit cautious in the first half. Some of his play calling, I thought we could have just went after him a wee bit more. But then the second half, they just let May rip. And there's a star in the making there, which is no surprise to myself and other Patriots fans who have watched them. But to do it prime time away at the Buffalo Bills, hand them their first defeat of the season, it could be the start of an interesting run. But I wouldn't be worrying too much if I was a Buffalo fan. It's one of these games that happens, a wee bit sloppy in play, lots of penalties. It's just one of the ones that just doesn't quite fall for you. They'll brush it off. I'm sure they'll continue their journey into the postseason. But yeah, no, it was a game I thoroughly enjoyed watching. And as I said, there's I don't know if you saw. Did you see Mike Tirico? Is that the commentator's name? With the boy who? This is a side note. Josh Allen threw it away right in the crowd. Young fan, young guy, caught it straight up his jersey, looked, and he just made an absolute dash for the exit to make sure the NFL weren't taking that ball back off him. But Rico had a brilliant commentary as he's like, and he's at row 10 and row 15. He's got Allen in Milan. So it was brilliant. A very enjoyable game. And I think it's interesting to see where things go from here. Looking at the run that New England's got coming up. We've got a lot of winnable games. Division's not the best. I'm sure we'll come in later on where their future stands. The only sort of drawback from my side, I think, was the injury in Antonio Gibson. He's went out with an ACL, so he's done for the season. I think Milano actually went out in this game in the second half. I don't remember seeing him. Things were getting a wee bit blurry after 14 hours, I said, but I think he was he was a big loss to him. I was delighted with how this game went as a Patriots fan. But I think it really does just shake things up in the AFC. I think that's the important thing.
Yeah.
I think when you see that there's not any perfect teams out there, every day the parity, is that the word, of the league is really starting to show through. MD can beat MD. And that's the big thing I take away from this from New England, is the fact that in the day, I think if you can get into high mark, beat the Bills in Sunday Night Football, then you can just go in anywhere and win. But can you be consistent enough? Can you deliver that consistency? Because that's what wins you championships at the end of the day.
So when you think about it, this is just a great stepping stone in the evolution for Drake May. And it looks as if you've got another quality quarterback in place. And for him to go and get such a big win early on in his career, that's just going to stand you guys in great stead, which is sickening for folk like Mikey and myself. So I absolutely gutted.
Well,
good. He's still a young guy. He's still only 23 or something like that, so still a long way to go.
I was just going to jump in because I'm pretty sure we were on a pod a few weeks back, Danny, and I singled it and told you the Patriots were coming back, and you were doubting it, and then you went and won. So I've got to take some credit for getting you on that wee roll there.
No, I take all the credit for that. When I was in Boston, it's appeared in a lot of social media thing. I was asked by a local social media outlet in Boston after about 10 cans if I could do a quick 30-second pump up sort of speech, and I did it, and we're 2-0 since then. So it's obviously all down to me, and I'll accept gratitude in any sort of form from Robert Kraft.
We'll make sure we share this in the socials. If you've not heard Danny's wonderful rendition of Drew McIntyre and Jerry Butler, that accent, buddy. I was watching it, I was turning into Lemmy. Fucking accent.
I thought it wasn't bad, to be honest, man. I was more thought I was going to end up saying chowder,
chowder.
Going to total Boston, but no, I did my best to enunciate, didn't want to.
It's good. No, you did well. Flying the flag. Looking good in the kilt. Looking good in the kilt as well. Fantastic.
One thing I was going to just jump in and say that Drake May was quite impressive. The fact that he, under pressure, he handled it pretty well. He looked good. The Bills put him under quite a lot of duress and pressure, and granted he got sacked 4 times, I think it was, but he still did pretty well. He still held his cool and all that. And some of the other QBs in the league, I think maybe even Drake May earlier in his career maybe would have been a bit more panicked on it, but he did, which again I think is testament to the coaching he's now getting. So
I'd have said earlier in the season, even he was looking a wee bit, skitterish, and he just wasn't quite reading. He was running into a lot of sacks. Our O-line's been actually pretty good considering it's young with Will Campbell in there and Gerard Wilson, and it's just you kind of see them coming together. But when pressure was coming on, May wanted to run into, he was kind of keeping his head down. He wasn't able to keep his eyes downfield. He would just try to take off and end up running into a sack. Whereas as that game went on, you could see his confidence grow, keep his eyes downfield. And when you saw him break out to the right and throw that on the move, touchline pass down in the 4-5 yard line to Stephon Diggs, absolutely unreal. That's a hard throw to make. And then obviously the one where he's actually getting dragged down, and he's doing it on the dive and the hoof, which basically sealed the game. So massive see for him. And, we'll see, as I say, he's still a young guy. We'll see how he progresses. But I'm trying not to get carried away, but it's hard. I'll start getting my Drake May tattoos anytime.
He did terrific, big performance for them. I think the only 5-0 team that we've got left now in the league is the Jets, and they're playing this weekend in London. We'll cover that a wee bit later. Mikey, anything from last weekend you'd like to cover at all?
I mean, the games were all a couple of weeks ago we had games that were back and forth, and they were all quite, like, they were exciting, they were back and forth. The games this week, I think, were a bit more clear-cut.
Done in the fourth quarter.
The strange thing about the games this week was that some of the top teams, I mean, were fell by the wayside. Obviously, the fact that the Bills and the Eagles were undefeated and now no longer are. It's like, as Danny said, it's definitely that sort of AFC anyway, at least just now, where there's nobody really sticking out. As in, I mean, the Bills are obviously sitting at the top, but there's nobody pushing that button. It's why the likes of my team, who just are injury riddled, but not an excuse, because they're just not playing good football. They're just not executing. They're not doing things, and that's why they're starting to make moves elsewhere and trying to reshape it. But the Texans handily beating them is a bit of a shock. The manner of in which they got beat was a shock, and to be fair, for most of our fans, we hadn't seen anything like that since 2017 against the Jags. So that's when they beat us in London, and we were handily probably the best team in the league at the time, and we got hammered by them. So it was a little bit of the manner of the loss was weird, even with second and third stringers. And credit to the Texans. The Texans done what any NFL team should do. But across the board, I mean, the game I quite liked and I was interested in. I was actually talked about the IR and not being well earlier in the week. So the benefit of that is I actually seen quite a lot of the late night games. So I watched the Jags and the Kansas City, and I joked a couple of times, because Keith, when we were at the Raven watching the meet up earlier that we had, the Bengals were playing the Jags, and the pass interference, it cost them pretty much the game. And obviously the Jags had some issues on that game anyway, but the Jags looked a different kettle of fish with their coaches at the weekend. And I watched a bit of Manning cast, and it was the first time I'd really seen the Chiefs looked, I don't know, they just looked like they were missing something, right? Whereas the week before they'd handily beaten the Ravens. So I was like, well, maybe actually it's just the Ravens are not actually that good, which transpires, it looks like they are, right? So, and I can openly say that, but the flip side to that is like Danny said, the AFC's it's a mixed bag just now. So some of the not very goods, I mean, Kansas City are sitting with the same record as the Carolina Panthers.
See that?
I mean, you 5 game in, would you think that? So it's just strength of schedule from now on will continue to matter for all the better teams, and then the lesser teams you'll see they will start to drop off. So you will see. But I mean, for me, go back to the Jags and the Chiefs. The difference at Trevor Lawrence, he's still skittish. He's still a bit like Eli Manning and Peyton Manning were on Manningcast, and they said Trevor Lawrence plays like he's still playing behind a bad O-line.
Yeah.
But then he realizes, I've got a good O-line. But the key thing for me is the Jags defense looks like the Jags defense from a few years ago, where they were balling and making plays and aggressive. And anybody likes defensive style football. That's good. So it was, as I said, I think a lot of the games were a bit more crystal clear, like they were done and dusted, and that was kind of nothing really eventful was happening. But
Trev, just going to say that Trev certainly looked skittish in that final play, the touchdown to win it. I mentioned in our chat that it looked kind of like one of the design plays the trick plays that the Lions would come up with last season,
Yeah.
where he fell down twice. All it needed when he was down, all it needed was a hand on him, and that was the play over then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But no, he managed to get up, find his bearings. How they kept him back, they kept the offense back from him, the defense away from him for that long.
The crazy thing is, I seen a play breakdown on it, and obviously anybody that's ever played American football or watched it, the running backs are told just keep your legs moving, just keep your legs moving, like keep going. So when Trevor Lawrence got back up and realised he hadn't been touched, I mean, he gets pretty much tackled, but he just keeps cycling, like treading water, and then all of a sudden finds himself in the end zone. But the interesting thing was the defense got so confused because they moved one way, and because of the way the O-line blocked, and because he fell, it's like they froze, thinking the play's dead type thing, and it just, I mean, it's one of the weirdest
plays. The whistle.
Yeah, and that's
what obviously Chris Jones is getting all the heat kind of this week for just kind of standing about watching it happen, and it is prime just go to ball, play to the whistle, and okay, you may end up with a flag or something in there, but surely when the game's on the line and they're 2 yards out, go after that ball. That was again. I think last week I said I still don't know if I trust the Jags at all. I still don't know what sort of team we're going to get from them, because there was some great things that they'd done in that game, and then there's some utterly stupid. They were very fortunate that actually led to a touchdown. But because can you imagine they're on the 3 and they fumbled that ball away when 9 times out of 99 times out of 100 that would have landed at the feet of a Kansas City player, and you'd been like, finally, or just typical bloody Kansas, they've got away with another one here.
When are we going to see QBs stop doing this stupid reach?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that play by Nick Bolton is genius, because he just waits and then bats it out and they fumble on the 1 yard. Like, right?
That was always a Belichick no. You do not reach it.
I mean, and it really grates me, that play in the whole NFL world, because why is a QB allowed to go like that and cross the plane? But yet, if you throw a pass to somebody, they have to catch it, control it, and make a football move. And I'm like,
I guess it's control of the ball. They've got control of the ball as they're reaching out with it. You only need to be able to break the play, and I guess
it really is one of these things for me. It's like I hate that push over. Drew Brees obviously was the master of it, wasn't he? But you're 100% right, Danny. The Jags are one of these teams that, fixture-wise, they've been. I mean, we obviously, I don't know when we're going into this, I'm jumping, but from a contender or a pretender, it's like they're one of the top teams record-wise right now. But
we'll get to that in a wee bit. Just to finish off, read off the Jags and the KC game. UK Ravens on Instagram have messaged in saying Devin Lloyd starting to show his quality, and what a way to seal the game for the Jags. My favourite bit in the whole bit of the highlights was the wee juke that he gives and sends the guy flying before he makes his way up the rest of the pitch. Dan, it was a thing of beauty.
Who doesn't love a 99-yard pick six? Is that just juke? Was it the run back? I don't know. Was it Pacheco or something that tried to tackle?
Mahomes tried to get him and he juked Mahomes.
Oh, was it Mahomes? I thought it was
Mahomes stood up and then clapped it.
Even better. Because again, like, not to touch on it, but there was quite a few dodgy refereeing decisions that went in favour. I don't know why he just always pointed at Kansas. I think you could go across a lot of the games last week and look at some of the officiating and say it was a bit shit. But obviously it's the pass interference call. There was the pick on the goal line as well. Mahomes went over and told the ref, get that picked up. Who do you think you are? We're the Kansas City Chiefs here. We run this tune. And they obliged and did as they're told. So, yeah, it was a great game. Full of, and I think that's one of the things about this week. There's just been loads of sort of highlights. There wasn't a lot of, sometimes there wasn't a lot of great football. Obviously, Tampa, Seattle game is probably one of the best games there. But, I can't let us move on with it. Touching on the Titans, Cardinals, shambles of a football game.
You guys mentioned breaking the plane, something that Demicado has definitely got to look back and and feel a bit ashamed at how he dealt with that. After we had just been slating, what was it,
AD Mitchell.
AD Mitchell the week before, for doing something similar. Gutted because I had a bet on for DeMarcado and who's it, Kyler Murray to get a touchdown this game. So I was with Jonathan Gannon at the side of the pitch. He's been fined, I think it was $100,000 for his behaviour. Aye, that's fair enough. I know it's a tough game. Coaches are tough, but that was going into Urban Meyer's territory. That was a wee bit full metal jacket on the boy, but that's a big costly blow because the Cardinals had been cruising. They got a big score early on, and absolutely nobody seen this coming back at all. Did you catch the highlights, Mikey?
I watched bits of it, and then I was a bit like you. See, when I seen the Cardinals were up, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was it done, and it wasn't until I was listening to the catch-up shows and somebody said about the Titans winning, and I went, "What?" And I went and looked at the score, and I was like, "I didn't believe that." So it was. I mean, fair play to Cam Ward, right? Good on him, gets his first win. I'm like, I mean, it's another one of Cardinals lost that game.
Yes.
They were like very much and for all the criticism that the Ravens get for double-digit leads, getting lost and losing games and everything. There's a couple of teams out there that have should be looking in the mirror that have had double-digit losses this week. So, but
I loved at the end of Red Zone, so it gives you like the highlights and it gives you all the statistics, and it was like, I know, like 32 passing touchdowns and then rushing touchdowns and special teams touchdowns, and then there was just one other. And for a while I was like, what's other? What does other mean? Then it must have been that Titans touchdown of the fumble, the whatever, the interception, the fumble, the fumble, and then just an absolute. You just look at that and go, are these professional players? Like, how the fuck does that happen? But it was just a common error, and that was across the board with Cardinals. You saw them, Kyler Murray getting the ball lobbed right off his face mask and stuff like that when they snapped the ball. It's just, it's just you can't coach like that. That's going to cost you your job.
Yeah, absolutely. I missed the game because I was watching the Buccaneers at the Seahawks. I'm really enjoying it. I've mentioned in the past that this season I'm really focusing. Anytime there's a Seahawks game, I'm going to try and watch the full game as opposed to Red Zone. Red Zone's been great, helped introduce me really to the game, but I'm wanting to get into my team and try and get more familiar with the players, the plays that we make, and how we're coaching, stuff like that. I feel that's the next evolution of my learning, and I'm really enjoying watching the Seahawks this season, even though I think we're 3-2 now record. Those 2 losses have been avoidable, and they've been in the final moments of the game where the game was in sight for us to win it, and it's been us shooting ourselves in the foot, I would say.
I mean, you were desperately unlucky. I mean, the guy putting his head up when it deflecting the ball and going right into the arms.
Levante David, that interception. It was a minute to go, and I was buzzing. It was one of the late games, Sunday night, doing my stuff for work, and I was absolutely buzzing. I thought, yes, we've gone down here. The game that I just witnessed, the shootout that it had been, both quarterbacks just absolutely slinging it. Igbuka, JSN. Igbuka had his longest catch was 57 yards. JSN 53 yards for him. Everything we did, they matched. Everything they were doing, we were copying. It was just a fantastic game to watch. But then for it to go like that, I was just absolutely gutted. And I'm loving that I'm getting right into it, and I'm starting to feel it the same way as I do about my football team. It's really got to me, but avoidable. But what I wanted for the Seahawks at the start of this season was for us to be fun and competitive, and we're more than exceeding what I thought we were going to be doing. Defense is looking good. We're making big plays. We're giving ourselves a chance to get in there, but what you see is kind of shipped a wee bit too many points at the weekend there, and that's kind of been a wee bit of a feature of the season so far. But that was fun to watch. One thing I will say is, though, Lumen Field is a fortress. The 12s and the noise that we make and how players don't like them there. The noise was incredible. You could hear that coming through the telly, even though I had it down super low. It's late at night on a Sunday night. Everybody's all sleeping. That sounded incredible, that stadium. I cannot wait to get there one day to see my team play.
It's always good when the best players in the league put on that show. I mean, last year, I think Lamar and Joe Burrow went head-to-head, and it was like a 38-35 type. I think it was 38-41 or something like that. We were salivating about the game and how well they played, and defense kind of went out the window, but the offenses were great. But I mean,
you guys in the Bills earlier?
I mean, but for Sam Darnold, who's having an MVP caliber year, it's like, and you love to see that for him and for likes of Baker Mayfield, who were cut and dry at their teams, and they've shown that kind of bounce back ability, as the old soccer AM used to say. But I mean, the thing for me is, I drafted Ibuka in my Dynasty League because I was like, he looks a player. And the fact that he went to Tampa with Baker, and obviously you've got the other wide receivers there, they were like, oh, he's got to be a wide receiver 3. I think I seen the stats the other day. He's 25 catches and he's got nearly 500 yards and 5 touchdowns.
The boy's a superstar, isn't he?
That's on pace for Jamar Chase type, Jefferson type level, and if Mike Evans eventually passes the torch and he becomes that, like, it's he's the next new star in Tampa. So it's got to be good to watch them. But it was probably my favourite game to see the weekend because it just seemed like an old fashioned kind of
shout out.
Love watching Baker. Baker is so much fun to watch. He's just a dynamic player. He just makes all the throws. If you want to just have a good time in watching football, watch Tampa, because that's what they're great fun to watch. And you keep an eye on some of the NFC teams. From my point of view, you know, I'm kind of got an eye on them. I'd like to see them make a run as well. But like the Lions, you want to see good defensive play, and I'm loving watching Baker. And like you said earlier, like Baker against Darnold, you know, that kind of Jets, Browns, you know, cast-offs, you know, it shows you what happens when you actually go to a decent franchise, well coached, and you've got the weapons running about you.
We've been big fans of Baker since I think really we started the Grid Irn-Cru. All we really wanted was to have a happy home, and that seemed last season as that's what he'd got. And I'm just so gutted that he kept it going at the weekend there, but no, it was terrific. Tampa Bay became the first team in the NFL history to win 4 games by 3 points or fewer in the first 5 games of the season. Wow. It just shows you that they're right on that knife edge that where it can go either way. But when you've got somebody who's positive, exactly. When you've got somebody like Baker that can do that, him and Darnold, the redemption men of the NFL, and it's been brilliant to see. One wee thing that we really do need to mention from that game was the retro kits that both teams had. Seahawks, I love everything about that. I don't know what it is. That uniform that we've got there in the old retro Seahawk logo, it's absolutely class. I hope we see it a wee bit more this season. I hope it's not just a one and done. Maybe get another game before the end of the season. Hopefully a win at Lumen Field as well wearing it. That'd be nice. But the record just now, McDonald's record since taking over, played 16 games at home, won only 4 of them.
Wow.
Away from home on the road, 9-1, 9 wins and 1 defeat, which is
he's washed.
Fantastic.
He's washed. Get rid of him.
You're not getting him back. But to be fair, that downturn at home last 3 years under Pete Carroll, we were 13-12, so the change was kind of coming. It's a weird one. Hopefully, we can get back to making that place a fortress, and we do that with that offense. JSN is an absolute star. You're talking about Igbuka. JSN's the exact same. Aye.
He looks good. He does look good. He actually, like, I seen a couple of catches, and I was like, that was some catch, and then realizing it was who it was, I was like, well, expect it. But,
okay. Craig has been doing a pile of work on our Instagram this week. He's doing fantastic work with the getting the stories up and the Cru's missile of the week and the big hits and all that we've been doing. So absolutely fantastic work, Smudger. Thank you. He put up a poll earlier on this week for contenders and pretenders. First up, we had the New England Patriots. 18% of the votes suggested that they're contenders. So that's Danny's two phones. And the pretenders got 82% in there. Do you say that's fair just now, Danny? Is this a wee bit too early in the Vrabel revolution?
100% fair. Even as a homer here, we're not contenders. As I say, if we can go there and give a couple of teams a bloody nose and show progression, we're happy, but we're not winning it. We're not got the big dance at all.
No. What about the Broncos then, Mikey? 58% say they are contenders, a wee bit closer, and 42% saying pretenders for the Broncos. They're maybe a year, maybe 2 years ahead.
I just don't know. Like, Broncos were darlings last year, right? And then there's weeks I watch the Broncos and I'm like, these guys look good. And then I watch them and I'm like, what are they doing? Like, and then they go out and then they beat the Eagles, and I mean the Eagles again should have been clear, and the Broncos come back. So it's like, is that the Broncos being really good, or is it kind of, I don't know. The poll's probably right because it's round about the middle, isn't it? 50, would you say 58? Yeah. So I think that's probably right. I mean, they're probably one of the better teams, but they will benefit the fact that the Chargers had a flying start, and the Chargers have dropped, so they're creeping back into that. And obviously, the Chiefs and the Raiders are there. I think it's like most divisions in the AFC just now that it's hard.
It really will be the head-to-head.
Yeah, it's got to be head-to-head, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Danny, next up, you stayed up to watch the game was the Jaguars. 50-50, this one ended up. Nobody can split them. They're just such a Jekyll and Hyde team.
They're pretenders for me. I don't know how they can look at it and go, yeah, they're a serious contender. They actually go to the big game in February or whenever it is these days. I just to say that they're making good progress. Liam Cohen can be happy with the progress that they're making and the way things are going, and I'm sure they'll be thereabouts, but given the strength of schedule, considering that division they're in, I know the Colts are doing well now. They might be a wild card team, they'll be there or thereabouts, but let's face it, they'll be one and done in the playoffs if they even make it there.
What about Mikey? Dan Quinn's Commanders? 31% say they are contenders, 69% saying pretenders.
I had high hopes for the Commanders this year, and they've just disappointed. I'm a bit like Danny's just said. I think they might get into the playoffs, but I mean the Commanders got to high strides last year, didn't they? And then just missed out. So I can't see them doing that this year. So I think they're a little bit of a pretender this season. Yeah,
they're 3-2. They've got the Chicago Bears coming to Northwest Stadium for the Monday Night Football.
What about Bill? I think you mentioned Bill for talking Commanders. That was a great game he put in. I don't even know his real name. I can't even pronounce it. That's just me being me. But I'm happy he's called Bill. So that's never know. You could take him in promised land.
The Commanders are so they've got the Bears, and then they've got the Cowboys, and then they're against the Chiefs. So by the end of October, we'll probably know where the Commanders sit. Because Cowboys, as much as anybody doesn't like to say the Cowboys, they're just kind of sitting there, aren't they? They're one of these sort of teams that
offensively strong, defensively shambles.
So, but I mean, to play the Bears and then the Cowboys and then the Chiefs, that's a decent run for the Commanders. So, but yeah, I think they'll struggle to match what they did last year. Is where I'm at. So, a bit of a pretender this year.
If they're going to be contenders, go win those 3 games.
Yeah.
That's it. Go and beat Kansas, go beat the Cowboys, and then you go, yeah, okay, they're back on the path. I guess the thing is, it's still early days, isn't it, for a lot of these teams? You know, we've seen it over many years where it takes week 8, week 9 before teams start to find their groove, and away they go on a run. So we'll see. But I've got out of the 4 teams there, I think I've got more faith in the Commanders. Obviously, given they've done it, they go to the NFC Championship game last year. So why can not go on that run again?
Coached pretty well. I mean, their playoffs chance in Sportsline just now are 52%. So it's like they'll get the playoffs, I would imagine. One because of their division. So, but you'd imagine it's going to be the Commanders and the Cowboys will get in from that division.
Keep Jaden Daniels fit. That'll get them a long way. Yeah. Okay, let's have a wee look through then. Quick fire for the weekend's games that we've got coming up. So Thursday night football, 1:15 Friday morning for us. The Eagles travel to East Rutherford, New Jersey, MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Giants. Mikey, I know you're hopeful that the Giants tank in this one. You can maybe pick up a wee player or 2 from them. Do you see the Eagles making a bounce back in this one?
I think they need to. I think they need to put their foot back down, don't they? I think a lot of people were. I think again, it's the manner and how they lost at the weekend. It was more that they probably shouldn't have lost to the Broncos, but they should handily beat the Giants. But we know the Giants are obviously have got a little bit of a revolution going here with Scatterboard, don't they? So it's like that'll be interesting to see. But I think we'll see the Eagles bounce back on this. I just think they're too good. They're too good a team for the Giants.
So, going by the way things are going in the NFL just now, this is going to be an absolute run over the top of them by the Giants then. The way they're just
the 1-4 team.
Absolutely. Danny, I take it you're the same. Yeah, Eagles to fly high in that one.
They need to. I think they need someone to steady the ship. You know, obviously it's another new offensive coordinator. Was it Kevin Patullo? Something like that.
Sounds right.
Somebody will correct us. If you say it with conviction, people will believe it. So I think between them, you know, when there's obviously big issues with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and the passing game, and Nick Sirianni's getting questioned whether he can actually galvanise a team again. You know, and so I think get there, take care of business, win the game, and then just get back on track. I think they'll be fine.
Absolutely. The Sunday games, crack slate we've got there. First up is the Denver Broncos taking on the New York Jets at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We were down at the Jets' last trip to London when they were beaten by the Vikings last year. Great fan base that they've got there. We've got Fraser Campbell that's been on the podcast a few times, the UK and Ireland Jets fans. I'm sure they'll have a fantastic weekend down there. I know they're doing a big hosting, a big tailgate before the game. So if you get a chance, if you're down there, Jets fan or not, get a wee chance to sample the atmosphere and get along to that.
They're doing a big tailgate at Redemption Brewery. So
I think that's where they were last year as well.
Yeah. So they've reached out to the UK Ravens and said to, like, because if we've got guys, but yeah, if anybody's down there, they're a good bunch. They open the doors for everybody to go and enjoy, and it's generally quite a good tailgate. So
we were the other side of the stadium last year. It was the two pubs side by side. One was the Vikings pub, one was the Jets pub, and the fans outside just mingling, and it was absolutely brilliant. You'd have seen pictures of some Warrior Princess Vikings fan at the games last weekend. That was Smudger's pal. She was her and Smudger were getting votes together last year for the Vikings. So the Jets fans are in for a rare weekend. It's going to be superb. But I'm not so sure that their team's going to break their duct this weekend. Broncos certainly are a team we could maybe say are a wee bit Jekyll and Hyde, but I think this is depends how they travel. This should be one that Sean Payton comes away with a win for. Are we agreed?
Yeah. They need to. You don't go and beat the Eagles and then lose to the Jets. So again, prove it, take care of business, and then just get on the flight home.
It sets the Broncos up well though. So if the Broncos go and win, and then they're 4-2, right, after that game, it puts them in the mix in the AFC. Regardless, I mean, you think about the other teams who are there. If the Eagles win, then they go 5-1, right, in the NFC, right. But in the AFC, the Chiefs are 2-3, right. And then you look at the other AFC teams. It's like, who else is going to be up there like 4-2?
Yeah.
So it puts the Broncos in that kind of pole position up there. I mean, the Jags could be up there depending on where they're at. But I mean, if you said to me, who do you trust more, Sean Payton or the Jags right now, like the Broncos? I'm pretty sure maybe all three of us would say the Broncos.
Well, I guess one of their divisional rivals has got to be probably up there. It's a game I'm sure we'll get to, but the Chargers are playing Miami. So that even with their injuries, should be a winnable game. So, they've got to keep toe-to-toe with their division before they look too further afield.
Yeah.
Disappointing for the Chargers that Marion Hampton's going to be out long term for him. He'd started the season really, really well, and that's what they were kind of pinning their hopes on, the young running back there. But it's a shame. They just need to get back to finding what was working for them. Herbert just being able to sling it a wee bit more again. So that's a tough one. I thought that because of the loss that the Chargers had last week, it's going to be a wee bit tighter than we think. Miami seem to be the final throes of a dying man. Just now that they seem to have a wee bit in them, but then just not able to see the game out. Danny, we'll get to your tiering just now for head coaches on the chopping line at the end of this, but that could be a tough one. So Chargers taking on Miami. Yep.
I was just about to say with the Chargers have obviously traded the Ravens yesterday for Odafe Oweh. They're outside. So Odafe Oweh was our double-digit sack pretty much last year. He was one of our sack leaders. Hasn't really hit the snap count or even productivity. He's in a contract year. It's worked out well for us because we've taken kind of one of their starting safeties. So it's favourable. The Harbour brothers are helping each other out. But although it'll look like that, it's actually Joe Douglas and Eric DaCosta and them who help each other out. But with Khalil Mack being injured, I think they've lost a bit of their pass rush pressure. So that might give them a wee bit of a boost in terms of different scheme, bit fresher. So I would take the Chargers to win this one against the Dolphins. The Dolphins, like you said, I think it's only a matter of time before we see some sort of movement on the Dolphins front.
I think so. Right, we'll go through the rest of the games quick fire. I'm just looking who you think is going to win. The Cardinals travel to Indiana to take on the Colts. Danny?
Colts.
Mikey?
I'll say Colts.
I'm going to go for Cardinals in this one. That was a bad defeat of the weekend. I think they need to come back for that. New England Patriots taking on the New Orleans Saints. Mikey?
I mean, this is quite similar to what Danny just said. If they don't beat the Saints this weekend, then last weekend's win was pointless, was it not? So I would say the Patriots to beat the Saints. I mean, the Saints got a good result. Like, they played much better last week, but I think the Patriots are better coached, better team.
Danny, you gone? Pat's
summed it up beautifully.
Lovely. Cleveland Browns, divisional game here. The Browns and Steelers at 6 o'clock on Sunday. Danny, I'll come to you first.
I'm going Browns. I think their defence is actually pretty good, and I'm not convinced by Steelers that they're scraping past, but I don't think they're actually that good.
Yeah, still waiting on Rodgers imploding. So, yeah, Mikey.
I'm dreading saying this, right, because the Steelers are obviously they're on a bye and they're like early bye, so they'll be rested after Ireland. And Guinness will be cleared out their system. The worry that you're laughing, right? But the worry I've got is if the Browns beat them somehow and the Ravens then get beat, the Ravens could be bottom of the AFC North. So it's painful.
It's going to be a great watch party, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. If there hadn't been a tie this season, I would have said, "Oh, what a tie!" But obviously, we've already had the tie this year. So I think the Steelers being more rested. The Steelers' defense for me will produce a lot more of a challenge for Dylan Gabriel, and I think the Steelers will win that.
Okay. Dallas Cowboys at Carolina Panthers. Danny?
Cowboys. Pretty handily.
It's got to be Cowboys. Mikey, yeah? Cowboys?
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Seahawks.
On the show, yeah.
Seahawks are travelling to Florida to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ooh, it's a road game. It's going to be a Seahawks win. There we go.
Agreed. I think
10-1.
I think Jacksonville will be kind of emotional. You're also that emotional high after beating Kansas. I think they come back to the earth there.
Excellent. LA Rams travelling to M&T Bank Stadium for the. Mikey's got his head in his hands for this one.
Aye.
You're going to be your heart for this one or the head?
Listen, I had us down for getting beat last weekend. I've got us down for getting beat this weekend because the way I look at it,
that's the Aberdeen fan in you.
Well, I had that. I was like, I was quite happy with Aberdeen losing because the Ravens were all right. But now Aberdeen won at the weekend. I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. So
I have both, right?
I'm never going to get
pick
both.
One.
Right, I'm never going to get both. I think Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, and who's the other? Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Worry me with our defensive struggles. Even the fact that our offense is not clicking. The one thing I will say is, I mentioned the trade that we had. So we've brought in some good. We've brought that. Kyle Hamilton was a late call off an injury last week. So we ended up having our 4th round rookie pick was wearing the green dot last weekend. So defensively, we were as poor as we can be in terms of communications, execution, and all that. So it looked worse than it was. Hamilton was back at practice today. Ronnie Stanley came back at practice on our offensive line today as well. So slowly getting people fit. The only concern that I do have is next week we've got a bye. So they might just turn it. I don't think Lamar will play. I think Lamar will rest it, which means it gives me a worry about Cooper Rush in terms of our offense. Defensively, we should be better. We've made the trade. We've picked up a couple of players. Get some players back. I just can't see the firepower of Sean McVay and the Rams not coming, who were on Thursday Night Football last week, have got an extended rest, come to the Ravens and doing a little bit of a thing. And I mean, there's some of the fans out there, including some of the guys who have messaged in tonight that have not read their messages out loud, but it might give them the extra motivation for changing the coaches or whatever the groundswell is from the Ravens. I don't see it changing because I think regardless of them losing this week or winning this week,
yes,
the strength of schedule for the Ravens after the bye is it goes from being one of the hardest starts of the season to one of the easiest remaining games. So based on who we have to play next. So there's still a chance. And then like we said about the division, but I know I've spoken more on there than I really wanted to, but yeah, I think the Rams are going to beat us.
It's therapeutical, pal.
That's what it felt.
Chris Donachie, he's calling you out, by the way, right? So just so you know, thanks very much for messaging in on Instagram, Chris. Hopefully see you on Sunday. Yeah. Aye, listen, it'll be fine, right? You'll get through this. You've got a bye coming up. Everything will make it. It'll make it all better.
I mean,
don't you worry.
And it's not an excuse because actually the play calling, the coaching, the execution, everything has been horrendous. But
I want to come give you a hug, Mikey.
I know any team in the league to have their 7 highest paid players out in any game. I mean, we had some. I think the number at the weekend we had 20 Pro Bowlers like we had are injured, and well, the last time we went 1-4. Yeah,
somebody a team that could get close to that this season and last would be the San Francisco 49ers, and they're taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, fresh off of that fantastic win at Lumen Field last week. 49ers, Bucks. Who are we going for, Danny?
Bucks.
Yeah. I think
I'm going to go 49ers.
I just can't bring myself to do it.
Purdy's back in there. It's no Mac anymore.
Purdy is out.
I am going to, for your wee boy, Keith, I am going to go 49ers. There you go.
Listen, I get enough pelters from him. No, I seen something before we came on saying that Josh Kittle's got a chance of coming back. However, Purdy, I'm sure, is out for the game. He's had a setback, so he won't make it for this week's game. So Purdy's out, but
even more so. I would say a Mac Jones special. For every good game, trust me, he's got a couple of stinkers in there, and I think Tampa's riding the high.
Flacco back to haunt the Packers yet again at Lambeau. I think it's a wee bit too soon. I think it's a wee bit too short a time frame for him to again learn a wee bit of the playbook, get a relationship with Higgins and Chase. It's going to be Packers winning.
There's a difference. The offensive line he had at the Browns was arguably a little bit better than the offensive line at the Bengals. I think Micah Parsons is going to eat Flacco up this weekend. I think the Packers kick back into gear.
Yes. Yep.
Speaking of monsters, terrifying monsters, Max Crosby's Las Vegas Raiders are hosting Cam Ward's Tennessee Titans. I think that's where the Raiders win it. Max Crosby and just terrorising Ward because Gino seems to be shitting the bed a wee bit there.
They need to win that one. Again, there's quite a few of these games you're looking at just go win it. Don't.
Yep.
You're then asking serious questions of Pete Carroll and that.
Yeah, just win, baby.
Coaching. That's it. Yep. Doesn't matter how, just go win it.
Just win it. Let's see, the late Sunday night game for us, 1:20 in the morning, is the Lions travelling to Kansas City Chiefs, travelling to Arrowhead for that one. Ooh. Chiefs for that one. I can just see the Chiefs eking it out.
I think the Lions will win it.
I think the Lions destroy them, to be honest.
And the crazy thing about that is if you told me at the start of the season, I mean, the Chiefs have had equally as hard a schedule start as. I think that's the problem when you finish first place and your next season, it's crap the way the schedule is. I mean, equally, if you told me that the Chiefs could lose to the Lions and lose 4 games to the start of the season, same as the Ravens have lost like 4 or 5, but then you told me the teams, if you spread that out over the year, then you'd be like, all right, okay, that's understandable. But it's the fact that it's right at the start of the season.
Yeah. And that sets you up for the rest of the season as well, doesn't it?
Aye. So
2 Monday night games. Aye. Yeah, we're going Lions for that one for you to. I don't tell you. I think they're just going to be this up and down team this year, the Chiefs. So I'll represent studs in that one. 2 Monday night games. We have the Bills travelling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. That's at 12:15 in the Tuesday morning for us. And 1:15 on Tuesday morning, you've got the Bears travelling to take on the Washington Commanders. Okay, Bills bouncing back there. Yeah. Absolutely. And the Bears, Commanders. I'm going to go Bears for this one.
I'm going Commanders.
Yep.
Danny and I have played far too much tonight. I'm like,
I know, I like it. No, I need to see consistency for Chicago before I can take them seriously. We've just kind of discussed reasons why Washington can be a contender. Again, go there, win at home. So I'll give them, seriously question them should they lose that game at Chicago.
Okay. On a bye this week, you've got the Vikings and the Texans. Right, there we go. That wraps us up for this week then. Mikey, you have a watch party in Glasgow again with the Scottish Ravens. Yeah, really looking forward to that. The last one was terrific. Again, the game against the Browns. I'm looking forward to travelling down, seeing you guys all again. Hopefully, get more fantastic pictures, get even more people in because the atmosphere was terrific, and it's brilliant seeing so many people celebrating touchdowns, and it was just a great wee day. Danny, you're coming down from the northeast this weekend. Hopefully, see you as well on Sunday.
Bells on, mate.
Meeting up. Yeah, fantastic. Yep. So, that'll be good. And you want to add about your watch party?
All I was just about to say, see, being able to watch, it's good watching football in your own place and red zone and all that and everything. But see, when you can watch it, I put in our group chat earlier in the week, it was like misery loves company. So if any of you fancy it, it's it's at the Raven Sunday evening. Everybody will be there kind of from about 5. Worth noting that the Scotland game is playing. Scotland are playing Belarus this weekend. So we do have TVs with the Scotland-Belarus game in case you get bored. We've got Red Zone on, we've got the Ravens game on, and the bigger screen, drinks, food. Download the Crave app if you are coming because you get a discount for your food and drinks, which is always a nice little bonus. And it works out because instead of you can get a $5 a beer for Camden Hells, etc. So that works out pretty decent.
The food was delicious last time.
It's good. It's a good day. I mean, the result will be what it'll be, but I mean, getting to hang out. We're expecting a slightly smaller crowd this because obviously the results, but also Scotland, etc. And a few of our guys are away. We will have some merch from the last time as well over. We might have some up and coming news soon for some extra stuff as well, which keep your ears out. And what I would say is thank you very much to you, Keith, because the picture you took of our crew, our Scottish Ravens when we were there the last time, has now been officially used on the Baltimore Ravens webpage and recognising us as our Scottish Ravens and our kind of Ravens flock. So there's your little claim to fame. So your pictures now.
There you go. So make sure a watermark next time with the Cruise logo.
Should have charged me. So I've done a little screen grab of it earlier. I actually meant to send you it, but
that's classic. That's brilliant.
So come along if you can. If you can't, then I'm sure you can attend any of the Grid Irn-Cru watch parties that we are planning having later in the year.
We'll sort that next week. We'll get some dates sorted, and we'll get the feelers out for where to fit. If you've got somebody that you could recommend for us to host a watch party, a wee Red Zone watch party, then get in touch with the crew. We are very open to that. Excellent. Danny,
just I was ready to jump in as well there. If you're in London at any of the London games of that, and you see any of the UK Ravens, give them a shout out because Edgar, our mascot, will be down there with the Ravens in the UK. So if you do see any of them, give them a shout. All right.
Outstanding. Danny, I don't think we've got time for you to do your head coaches thing, but what we'll do is we'll maybe tie in with Smudge and get a wee reel set up with that. So look out for that on our socials over the next couple of days. We might have a wee podcast on Friday night. We'll let everybody know about that. If not, Friday is World Mental Health Day. So we'll have make sure you check in with your pals. If you are struggling a wee bit with your mental health, best thing you can do is talk to someone. So we'll make sure we share all the numbers throughout Scotland that you can do to get a wee bit of mental health everybody is affected by it at some point. I had a wee bout myself around about this time last year, and what a difference between now and last year to how I'm feeling. Not because I spoke out and I asked for help and I got that. So very much make sure you're talking to your pals, check in with them every once in a wee while as well. So yeah, outstanding. Guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, Danny.
No, cheers, mate. Really enjoyed it. It's fairly perked me up.
Looks it. Get your head. A steaming hot a bowl of water with fresh lemon squeezed into it. A wee toady as well. Get your head steamed and get to your bed, boy. Mikey,
sounds like a plan.
Hope you're feeling better as well.
I am. This has perked me up much better than Danny seems to have been perked up. I appreciate it. It's good to speak ball, and I'll catch you all again.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe to the crew wherever you can. Get in touch. We love hearing from you. We love getting involved with everyone that's been messaging on Instagram. So thanks very much to everyone there. And yes, have a wonderful week. We look forward to speaking to you again soon. And thanks very much for listening.